Are you ready to make the rebels stronger? Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming straight at you with some big news here at 12 a.m. in the morning. I gotta wake up in a couple hours to go to work, but I need to make sure I make you guys a video because today we got some pretty big announcements regarding the Phoenix faction, which is everyone's favorite faction in the game.
I lied.
There has been just so much drama regarding the Phoenix faction for the longest time. Originally, they were needed for the Thrawn event, lots of drama there, so we just said, hey, farm the Phoenix faction. Thrawn's really good, you need him for Thrawn. Then we said, hey, Phoenix is actually pretty good for territory battles, farm them for territory battles. And now we're saying, farm the Phoenix faction because now they're going to get a heck of a lot better because they are getting Zeta and Omega changes in an upcoming patch. Now, unfortunately, I got some bad news for you guys. Bad news number one is the fact that we did not get any footage regarding the Phoenix, Zeta, and Omega changes. But the good news is, whenever the patch goes live, I'll be able to use my test account and we're going to test out these Phoenix, Zeta, and Omega changes. But what we're just going to do today is go over these patch notes so I can go to bed afterwards and get a nice 4 hours of sleep. So just to clarify, the Phoenix are not getting any reworks to their kit. They're simply getting a couple additional layers on top of them. And the first one we're going to look at is Hera Syndulla. Her Play to Strengths ability now has a Zeta upgrade, which gives her plus 25% potency and dispels all debuffs, reduces the cooldowns by 1, and grants 50% turn meter if the target ally is Phoenix. And just to clarify your memory, Play to Strengths is her ability to call someone in to assist. So she's going to be a cleanser now, which is a really important attribute for a character. And being able to reduce cooldowns is especially important for the Phoenix characters because a lot of them have some really nice abilities to go along. And plus, they're going to get a ton of turn meter, 50% turn meter. A lot of these guys are already pretty fast or decently fast, such as Ezra, and getting a 50% turn meter bonus is quite huge. So hypothetically, you can have someone like Ezra. They're going to get called by Hera to assist. They're going to do damage, and they're going to get 50% turn meter. Then you can go ahead and use Ezra's ability to call and assist, and he does some big damage. So a lot of stuff with that Zeta ability, whether or not it's going to be useful, hard to say, but it will be very useful for the Phoenix faction in particular, but probably not one of the top tier Zeta investments right this second that I can think of. Now for my Wild West Cowboy Jedi Kanan Jarrus, we have total defense. Now the Zeta upgrade to this actually is a kind of a nice few clauses here. First of all, it dispels all debuffs on Phoenix allies, so another dispeller that dispels all debuffs on them, which is really important. Grant Kanan and a target ally foresight for 2 turns and defense up to all Phoenix allies for 3 turns. And when each foresight expires, Kanan gains 100% turn meter and other Phoenix allies gain 50% turn meter. These are some pretty major changes. Kanan has probably one of the best Zetas so far now that I'm looking at this list. Being able to dispel all debuffs on Phoenix allies is something they've really needed. The second they all get dazed by Darth Maul, they're absolutely worthless. But if we have a cleanser between Hera and Kanan, that really solves a major problem. And plus, the major turn meter boost is insane. 100%, 50%. That's no joke whatsoever. Now, is this a Zeta we should be go crazy about or something we should be concerned about? I don't think so. This is mainly geared towards Phoenix characters. Only dispel on all allies is amazing. Getting rid of all those debuffs is something the Phoenix needed. But other than that, I don't think it's going to make the Rebel great as a whole. But the foresight might be great, especially in a Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta team, or perhaps Hermit Yoda or Grandmaster Yoda. A lot of foresight going around, and it looks like the foresight bonus is not only for Phoenix but for any ally he gives it to. And then plus getting 100% turn meter on Kanan whenever foresight expires is something that will be triggered quite a lot in a Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta team with all the foresights coming in and out. So far Kanan has a very interesting Zeta, mostly for the Phoenix characters and the Phoenix Squadron, but I think this might work outside of that in a Jedi team, which I wouldn't mind seeing Kanan in some more Jedi teams out there. So now we got Sabine. Now Sabine's an interesting character, one of the more interesting Phoenix characters I think. However, not many use her because of the fact that her kit seems a bit lackluster, especially when it comes to Demolish. So now they added a new layer to Sabine on her Demolish ability, where the Zeta upgrade gives her plus 15% bonus damage for each active Phoenix ally. So in total, you're going to get about 75% bonus damage right there. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. Of course I'm right. Plus, she gets to stagger enemies, which is very much like Director Krennic, and she can grant all Phoenix allies offense up, critical chance up for 2 turns, and she exposes the target enemy she is looking at. Then you inflict an additional expose on a random enemy for each other active Phoenix ally, reducing the cooldowns of Demolish by 2 if this attack scores a critical hit. Now we're going to have to see how this works in action, but the text makes it look like for each critical hit scored, you reduce the cooldown by 2, but it also looks like you only have the maximum of reducing Demolish's cooldown by 2. But nonetheless, this means she can constantly spam Demolish, put out Stagger, and if you know the Phoenix Squadron, they call assist, they counterattack, which means you might be reducing a lot of turn meter off the enemy. And if you recall, this attack cannot even be countered or evaded, so this will be great. Perhaps against a Commander Luke Skywalker team, this might be what we're needing to get Stagger on all the enemies, being able to apply Expose on the enemies. They won't, Commander Luke and Han Solo, they won't be able to evade this, they won't be able to counter this. This might be something that the Phoenix can use against the Commander Luke Skywalker meta. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see until I can get them on my test account and try them out. But hey, let's get the ideas flowing. I think it's something we can't ignore. All right, Ezra Bridger. This guy is already amazing without complete Omegas, without the Zeta mats. He's great, and now it looks like they're adding a new layer to his ability called Flourish with the Zeta upgrade, and all it's doing now is that he's getting plus 50% damage on this, and also gets plus 25% turn meter gain, and you gain defense up for 2 turns. Goodness. Again, it's gonna be a huge damage increase. This will be a big damage dealing attack, and plus he gains 75% turn meter, and he can also reduce this attack's cooldown by 1 in the final scheme of things. Again, I don't know if it's game-changing, but for the Phoenix Squadron and for Ezra himself, he's already a major damage dealer. This will just make him hit even harder, which is great. Moving on, we got Zeb. Now, Zeb has Staggering Sweep, and Staggering Sweep is getting a Zeta upgrade, and here he's got quite a few things, and Staggering Sweep already had a lot of conditionals and could do quite a few things before, and now it's just going to get even better. Firstly, the cooldown is reduced by 1. You get plus 75% bonus damage and plus 20% damage equal to the enemy's maximum health if the target has no debuff. So if a character has 20,000 max health, does that mean that Zeb can do an additional 4,000 damage? If that's the case, this can be quite a big damage dealing attack for a tank of his stature. But besides that, he can ignore armor if the target is already buffed. He gains 50% critical damage if the target is debuffed, and this attack can't be evaded, and Zeb gains 10% turn meter for each active Phoenix ally. Again, they're adding so much turn meter to all of these extra Zeta abilities, and this actually seems very interesting. A lot of bonus damage here, and the plus 20% bonus damage equal to an enemy's maximum health means he might be really good at chopping down some big tanks that have a lot of health and you might be stuck behind, perhaps against characters like General Kenobi. I really want to see this in action. It looks like it's going to be very promising. I mean, look, we have the plus 100% more damage against enemies that have no debuffs, and then plus on top of that, you get the bonus damage equal to 20% of the enemy's maximum health. So this might be great against those cleansing teams like Kenobi. He's not going to have probably too many debuffs on him. Use this. You might be whacking some major damage on a Gear 12 Kenobi. I really want to see this in action, especially because of the fact that this is ignoring armor as well and can't be evaded. So Foresight on Kenobi won't be able to move away from this bad boy. And finally, we got our boy Chopper. Now, he's not getting no Zeta upgrades with this update, but he's getting 2 Omega abilities, and it's triggering a lot of ideas in my head, with the first one being Reckless Fling. Now, the Omega upgrade adds a plus 10% cooldown reduction chance, and also this applies to droid allies and not just the Phoenix allies. So again, let's put on our tinfoil hats and think about this. I said this for BB-8. It looks like they're starting to make kits that are supposed to work very well with droids. Kind of feels like they're trying to set the stage for a droid rework, and if that's the case, maybe this would be great for a droid rework or a General Grievous. Having this apply to droids as well really does expand Chopper's opportunity to work beyond the Phoenix faction. And lastly, we have Chopper's maintenance protocols. Just an Omega here, where he gets plus 4% health and plus 4% protection, and Chopper has a plus 30% chance to assist when another Phoenix or droid ally uses an ability on their turn. So I could see this working very well with the Phoenix faction especially. They have a lot of things cooking in their pot right now. And with the droids, again, this seems like they're trying to make the droid faction a bit more broad, setting the stage for a potential Zeta perhaps on droids, or reworks, or my goodness, General Grievous. And then they just go on to general strategies. I highly recommend you check these out. And they kind of nonchalantly said, oh, try upgrading a few of the new Zetas for a quick boost of power and sustainability. But the problem is, We are having such a Zeta crunch right now, and is the Phoenix a faction where we just gotta start throwing our Zetas on? I don't know. Zetas aren't easy to come around, but if they do make Zetas easier one day, I would like to try some of this out. It's giving us more of a reason to upgrade these characters, that's for sure. Territory battles, we already knew they were quite good, and now the Phoenix can climb higher in Squadron. They're putting it out there. They're pretty confident the Phoenix will be starting a great climb in Arena. We'll have to wait and see. Right now, they're looking like a very interesting squad, a lot of stuff being shared among them, so I really want to see how they are in action. So be sure to stay tuned. Again, as I said, no gameplay today, but we are going to eventually get the update, and when the update drops live on everyone's accounts as well as my live test account, I'm gonna go test them out. We're gonna try them out in Arena, take them against the meta. Can they stand the test of time? We will see. But until then, my friends, it is right now 1 o'clock. I have to edit this video and make sure it's ready for you guys come tomorrow afternoon. So thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to leave me a like. Also, comment down below, what are your thoughts on this new faction? It's essentially a brand new faction with the Zeta mates. A lot of stuff is changing. I want to hear your thoughts and let me know what types of lineups and what strategies I should keep in mind when we pull out the bad boy and test these guys out. And be sure to subscribe, guys, so you're not missing a thing. You don't want to miss that Phoenix team, let me tell you. So be sure to subscribe. And as always, guys,
I'll be back.